Hello, this is the trade site Forex market preview and international economic data roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 15th of April, tax day usually, except it's a Sunday, 2018, ending Friday the 20th. Hope you have a good trading week. Here's a look at the here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. We've gone nowhere now for months. We had that 13 buy signal that stopped us. That was the exhaustion signal back at the end of January, and we have literally been dead sideways ever since. We did retrace up to that green static trend line. That's the high, so we're pretty much using signals and doing what we're supposed to do, except for just no action. Let's go through the major daily charts, then we'll look at the intra-week action, then we'll talk about the data coming out in the week ahead, see if there's anything we need to be aware of. Here's the euro dollar. It's basically the inverse of the dollar index. Has gone nowhere. It's been flat. Pound dollar on its way towards a 13 seeker. If we get 2 days up here, from here we'll get potentially another seeker sell signal on the pound. But it's also been fairly narrowly contained. Euro yen also up a little bit this week, didn't do much. Aussie dollar, there you go. Pound yen up a bit. Pound Swiss broke to new highs the last week. New Zealand dollar not doing much. Let's look at the intra-week action. So here's the 30-minute candles. High to low on the euro dollar was only about 120, 125 pips for the whole week. It's nothing very exciting. Pound dollar, high to low was about 200. And again, not much, just a drift upwards there. So it wasn't much to talk about for the week. There's not a lot for signals or any of that type of stuff. There's nothing on the daily charts to focus on. So we'll just take a look at the economic data and go from there. Sunday, New Zealand has the FPI number, and UK starts the week with the right move HPI, housing price index. Europe, German WPI, PPI out of Switzerland, retail sales and Empire State Manufacturing Index here in the U.S. at 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning. CB leading index out of the U.K. an hour later. Business inventories 30 minutes after that, along with the housing market index. We've got the tick long-term purchases at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Monday. Australia's got their monetary policy meeting minutes. China, GDP, fixed asset investment, industrial production, and retail sales at 10 p.m. Eastern time going into Tuesday. Japan's got their revised industrial production. UK's got their unemployment rate. Trade balance out of Italy, the zoo economic sentiment out of Germany, and then the broad European sector. Foreign securities purchases out of Canada. Building permits and housing starts out of the U.S. Capacity utilization, industrial production out of the U.S. I got a Fed member speaking at 10 a.m. Tuesday. GDT price index at some point out of New Zealand. Another Fed member speaks that evening. Trade balance out of Japan at 7:50 p.m. Eastern time. MI leading index out of Australia going into Wednesday. CPI, RPI, PPI, housing price index all at the same time. 4:30 a.m. Eastern time Wednesday out of the UK. Final CPI out of Europe. 10-year bond auction out of Germany. Bank of Canada's got their rate announcement. So we've got a Bank of Canada rate announcement. Okay, that's on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Crude oil inventories here in the U.S. Beige book out of the U.S. in the afternoon. CPI out of New Zealand that night. We've got the unemployment rate out of Australia going to Thursday. Current account out of Europe. Retail sales out of the U.K. 10-year bond auction out of the U.K. Spanish 10-year bond auction out of Europe. ADP non-farm employment change. That's a Canadian number, not the U.S. version. Philly Fed manufacturing index and the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims here in the U.S. That's at 8:30 on Thursday. CB leading index 30 minutes out into the market. Natty gas an hour into the market on Thursday here. National core CPI out of Japan at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday going into Friday. Tertiary industry activity out of Japan. German PPI. CPI out of Canada and all the related stuff plus retail sales at 8:30. Consumer confidence out of Europe at 10 a.m. on Friday, and that's it. So none of our big three, no Fed meeting here. The only rate announcement is out of Canada. So there's some data, but nothing super exciting. We'll see if the markets get moving at all, but Forex has been pretty flat here lately. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week here in the middle of April.